If you sell IT for MSPs, then guess what? This video is for you, because I became an IT salesperson for an MSP and I generated over £165,000 of new revenue within a 4-month period. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how I did it so that I can ensure that you can go from potentially being so successful to being incredibly successful. I'm going to share with you the tips, I'm going to share with you everything I did and what I put in place in order to be able to get those results so that you can do exactly the same. And that means you can earn commission, you start to build the career you want and achieve all the things you dream of. So let's get to it on how, when I became an MSP salesperson, I achieved success and what I did. Let's get to the video. So as you can see from the screens here, I've generated over £160,000 of new business for them across 2 new customers that I generated and brought in for them. And the question is, that organisation is really happy now that not only have I generated new business for them, but I've also won them business customers that are going to probably be with them for a long period of time. The question is, how did I do it? What did I do? What's so special about my approach, and how can you start to replicate that? When I got into work with the organisation that I did, so I understood where their strengths and weaknesses were. It was really clear from the start that they had a strength in becoming a Cyber Essentials accredited organisation. And they were the people that could actually provide Cyber Essentials certification to organisations, and they were only one of 300 MSPs in the country that could do that, especially one of the only ones in the London area. So one of the things I thought was, right, let's focus on where the strengths are in order to be able to start to see the options to get going. One of the first things I'm going to encourage you to do is to talk to the leader or the MSP or boss and see where are the most success. Success leaves clues. So which organisations have they had most success? Or which particular technology have they had a lot of success in selling? Or if there's not particular examples in each of those cases, what are their best customers? What industry are they in? What types of organisation are they in? You really need to be able to find out where success has happened to start off with in order to build success going forward. And that's something I was able to do quite clearly, and I'll be able to identify the Cyber Essentials and being able to focus and help organisations become certified was definitely something that was going to be an opportunity, not for everyone, but for enough people to generate the business to start with. And both the 2 deals that I brought on board, both started with Cyber Essentials, and then we built them into other clients from there. So focus, number 1, on an area that you know you can have some strength with. And if you can't, work with your MD, make sure that you understand that there's a plan to be built here to try and work out what your niche or your unique offer it is so that we can start to give ourselves the best chance of success. So point number 2 is this: you've got to just get out there and find some new leads. And the reality is this: yes, we want to work with MSP organisations that have leads flowing into us day in, day out. But the reality is, the very test of a salesperson is to ensure that you've got the ability to pick up the phone or pick up and drop an email or have a conversation on social media and start to build relationships. What did I do? I actually was in a position where I started to pick up the phone. I started to ring organisations who I felt were a good fit for the organisation and who also I felt would have a requirement for Cyber Essentials in the work they do. What was my angle? The angle that I used there was, most of the time, these organisations were people that needed to have the certification in place for government reasons. The UK government has recently mandated that more and more organisations should become Cyber Essentials certified. And for certain parts of their supply chain, they've even said that if they don't have that requirement in place, they won't even do business or make them part of tenders. So I was able to identify potentially a weak area where I could then pick up the phone and have a conversation with or a discussion with someone, and make sure that that conversation was going to prove potentially interesting and useful to them rather than me just trying to sell them something. I went onto the MSP website and went on and you can do the same thing, and did a search on that organisation to see, have they got a certificate in place? And if they haven't got a certificate in place, what I was then able to then go and do is see, are they doing business in an area that might require them to have that certification? And when I found that they were, I connected the 2 together, and then just built myself a script that I used to be able to pick up the phone and have a conversation. And the script went very much like this: hey, I'm ringing up because I know that you're currently working in the government space and do a lot of businesses in the environment. I just wanted to make sure you're aware that you don't currently have Cyber Essentials in place. That could mean that if you don't put Cyber Essentials in place, within say 6 to 12 months, you could lose out on that revenue, and how big an impact would be? And by doing that, and by able to show that I'd researched them and identified what was happening, a number of the organisations were like, oh, we didn't know that. That was a surprise to us, and tell us more about that. They were intrigued. I'd created curiosity in their mind that made them want to then have a follow-on meeting. So the key point of this is identify where there's an opportunity and then lead with a conversational discussion that can create that curiosity, that can create that dialogue, that makes someone want to go, I want to explore this further because there's something in it for them rather than just focusing on what you want to sell. So once I'd had those initial conversations, I then made some appointments to be able to have a more detailed discussion. And one of the key things that I did within that discussion that most salespeople don't do was I was cool from the start. Of course I wanted to win the business. Of course I wanted to see these deals pop in. But I knew that desperation was a stinky aftershave. And if I'd have focused on being, do you want to do this right now? And how about you sign up today? And do you want to do this? I wouldn't have got the success that I had. What I was able to do is to go into those conversations and share value, to share insights. Here's what we're seeing with another organisation similar. They lost out as a result of not doing this. The implications of not having this in place meant this and this for them. Not sure how that would affect you. Or how would it be the implications of not being able to win that tender or win that contract? Or what would be the implications of being shut down as a result of not having that in place? How would that feel? What would be the implications? By asking those type of questions and focusing very much with an energy that was not pushy, but very about trying to understand what the dynamic was, I was able to bring them closer to me. And that's what a lot of salespeople fail to do. They go in with too much initial energy. They go in with commission breath, too keen to see something, and that puts people off. So make sure in your initial meetings, yes, you want to be able to work with them, but that initial conversation is about you qualifying them as much as them qualifying you. Become calm, make sure you're cool in the discussion, have a list of questions and discussions that you want to use, and then throw in one or two snippets of information and insights that you've gained elsewhere and utilize that in the part of the conversation. And hopefully what you're going to do by probing and finding out more information, you're going to get the person to want to carry the conversation on. So the next thing that I did within these meetings, and this is something, if I could give you one tip, if you watch any of my videos, I'll tell you is the key thing to sales success is that I got under the bonnet. What I did is I basically started to ask questions. I used my LAPS model, which I use in any single, I'll put a link to the video here. Listen, ask, probe, summarized. And mainly focus on asking the great questions. Those questions around what's the implication of not getting that resolved? How would it feel to be in a position where you didn't get that deal in place? Or what would be the impact if you didn't have that? Or how would the business cope if it did have a cyber attack? I was able to ask all of those type of questions and then be able to probe in. You mentioned this could cause an issue. What do you mean by that? Or you indicated that would hurt the business. Tell me how much it would hurt you. By probing in and digging into those conversations, I was able to find out more. I'll be able to find out more. I could then utilize that and build that into my notes to qualify whether they were a good fit. And ultimately, at the end of the conversation, I was then able to summarize. From what I've heard today, you've told me that if you didn't get cyber essentials in place, it would cause a big issue. And the implications of not having an attack would be huge. And actually, there is some budget set aside for fixing this, but you're not quite sure how to do this at the moment. What have I missed? And by the fact that I was able to get that information, I was then able to ask that great question at the end of a sales meeting, which generally always results in either going one way or another, which is, what do you want to do next? How do you want to move forward? And in both cases, I had both organizations say, we'd love to find out how you can help us solve this, or what does it look like to solve this? Or what does it take to solve this? Or how long have we got to solve this? And in which case then I was able to be in a position to then start talking about the solution and how the solution can work. So the key thing is get under the bonnet, ask the right questions, really become focused more on listening than talking, and you're going to be in a better position to see whether those potential opportunities can turn into clients. So once I summarised, the other key thing that I looked to then do is to make sure I kept the discussion conversation going. Even though I knew in some cases that they were going to take some time to review with other colleagues, what I did is made sure that I booked another appointment. Really enjoyed our conversation today. Appreciate that you've got a few things to sort out. Why don't we put a date in the diary for 3 weeks' time so we can come together and see where we are? And here's the kicker here. Even if it's a case that you don't want to move forward or you haven't made any progress, at least we've got a date and time booked so that we can see what the options are. By putting that date and time in the diary and making sure I then committed it and got it sent into their diary itself, it meant that I knew there was a next step. And then the other key thing that I did throughout that process is even if one of the meetings took 3 weeks, I kept on sharing some value based upon problems that they had. You mentioned in our meeting this, here's something that might help. You mentioned in our conversation this, here's an article I found that could be useful. I kept on giving value over that period of time so that when the time came to have the next meeting with me, they were really keen to find out more and felt that they knew and trusted and wanted to work with us. The key thing is not just to leave and hope that things are okay, focus on what's challenging for that audience and give them some insights, and that can help you a huge amount. So what I also did after the meeting happened was that I made the prospect feel special. How did I do that? By doing one of two things. One of the organisations, I sent a box of brownies in the post, and I mentioned that because he'd mentioned that they'd had some conversations as a team meeting, and I thought it was a great way to be able to say thanks for giving us the chance of working with them, and I shared some details with them. For the other one, I actually said, hey, would you like to come to our office and actually be able to, and then took them out for some lunch. By building relationships and by being able to focus on them personally, I was able to break through some of the barriers, some of the suspicions, some of the doubts that they had. A lot of salespeople sometimes think they've got to just get business without doing anything in return, and it doesn't work that way. By building relationships, by finding out what they were really interested in, I was able to really get them to trust me more so that the next stage of the opportunity became much easier and became a much more comfortable process for them and us. And that next stage was then the outline of the solution. In both cases, people were keen to find out what the solution looked like, and I was able to show them that actually how we've done it for other people. Here's what we've done in the past with people similar to yourself. We've put this solution in place, and that's given them this, this, and this, which has enabled them to do it X, Y, and Z. And being able to show them details of that and even give them some quotations from other people, it built trust. It made sure they believed that we could actually help them solve their problem. And by doing that, they're in a position where it makes then the final part of the conversation, the close, really easy. When I was able to say to them, based upon what we've talked about, how would you feel about moving forward? The conversation was, yeah, this sounds like a great idea, let's get it going. Yes, this sounds like the right approach for us, let's move things forward. The close wasn't this complicated, difficult thing that people talk about. It was a simple thing that happened as a result of building a relationship over time, fixing a problem, and being able to showcase and share value to make them think that what we were charging them for it was worthwhile. As a result of that, not only did the two deals actually happen, but since that time, because we've then gone and delivered that work effectively, I've then done the further thing, which is to follow up afterwards, check things are okay, continue to build the relationship, and now we've seen in both cases that they continue to want to do additional work, which is on top of what was already done. And that additional work, in one case, which is to roll out a brand new project, has made the project itself worth nearly £100,000. The key thing is when you build relationships and you focus on the problems of the audience, they're going to want to, and you've trusted them and they've trusted you to be able to deliver, they're going to want to do more things with you. So look, I became an MSP salesperson because I wanted to show that the models and the methods that I use work. I wanted to show how it's done. And the reality is I want to give you the tools as an MSP salesperson to do exactly the same thing. The mistakes that most people make is they're too hungry for business. They're always pushing for a sale and looking for their own commission rather than focus on building the relationship, understanding the audience before they get to a point of trying to sell to people. So if you can apply the same principles, you're going to give yourself the best chance of success. Not every person you talk to, not every client and prospect you engage with is going to be a potential piece of business. But most of the time, if you apply good process and good technique and focus on understanding and solving their issues, you're going to give yourself a better chance of winning the deal. That's how I did it. But how are you getting on? Let me know. What are the challenges that you face in getting deals done? What stops you from winning business? What stops you from getting things over the line? I'd love to hear it so I can help you. But the key thing is, of course you're going to get the odd objection. Of course you're going to get people that maybe find it challenging to want to work with you or query the price. But if you built the relationships up in the right way, if you've listened more than you've talked and understood them, you're going to put yourself in the best possible chance to get sales success. So I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. Let's make sure I share lots of insights that can help you as an MSP business owner or MSP sales professional get sales success. This channel is focused on getting you the right results that you need so you can grow your business and grow your earnings and take your career where you want to. But as ever, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Loads more videos to follow. Have a look out for the next one. It's going to help you get to where you want to get to.